Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we should be live now. I'm going to wait to see if people in the chat tell us that we're not, um, and
Okay.
if they can hear us both. So obviously I'm speaking, so hopefully they can hear you. Killian, do you want to say a few words, and then we can see if people can hear us?
Um, Hello. So yeah, I'm all the way from Ireland. I'm not over in the UK, so it's great to join you here today, Tom. Looking forward to our
Obviously,
chat.
they
Can they
can
hear
hear us.
us?
They can. We've had a person say that we can be heard, so that's good. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, do you
brilliant.
want to explain? Because obviously I've done my cooking stream earlier today, so people kind of know me a little bit. So you're the anomaly. So
Of
explain who you
course.
are.
So yeah, my name is Killian Fitzgerald. I'm 28 years old, and I have classic PKU, and I only take in over 6 grams of exchanges a day on my daily life. I'm involved in performing arts. I love to perform on stage. I love to do choreography and directing, and also being a radio host in my local radio station.
So
So,
you're used to hearing your
yeah,
voice. You're used to like being in front of the camera, that sort of thing.
yeah,
So you make the like.
definitely.
I'm glad that we both. I'm glad that I got your age right first of all, because I was like, we are both 28. I have to check that we are both 28. So
Yes,
it's like,
yeah, yeah.
yes. When is your birthday? When do you turn 20?
Um, the 9th of
Ah, okay.
March.
So I'm May. So we're not too far away.
Oh, yeah,
So I guess
yeah.
with International PKU Day, how
Hmm.
much does PKU for you? And then I'll answer. How much does PKU actually factor into your adult life? Too much? Like does it like consciously and subconsciously?
Oh, oh, every single day. There, no, it's just uh, the day that's in it really with PKU. It's so great to hear everyone's story. The day, and we're lucky to have it, really, you know. Um, but for me, yeah, it's just a build up and the great awareness, you know, because so many people, so many people out there don't know what PKU is, and at least with this day, it gets everyone talking, you know, because it's covered all over news feeds and social
Can't
media.
escape. You can't
So
escape, can you? So,
yeah,
um,
no, no,
it's like yeah, you can't escape. So for the people that are watching, you can ask us anything. That might be a bad open
hmm
idea that we've just given them, but you can ask us anything that's PKU
but
related or non PKU related. It's meant to be not just me and Killian hearing our voices and talking to each other, but also like a dialogue, isn't it? So
yeah, of course. So, Tom, I saw on the PKU page for UK and Ireland today that Liam Wilde he posted, describe your experience with PKU in one word. So, have
oh,
you got one word?
putting me on the spot there. Um, I
Yeah,
saw a
yeah,
few. I
yeah.
saw a few people's words like roller coaster and stuff like that. Yeah, for me,
Demanding.
like, because
Yeah,
I've got quite a positive outlook. I guess it's unique. Seems like it's sitting on the fence, doesn't it? If I say it's unique, um,
yeah,
but I'll sit on that fence, and I'll be, you know, I think
yeah,
it's been. I don't know anybody, and even when you speak to another person with PKU, every person's journey's been different.
mhm,
So I guess for me, that's why I'd say
definitely.
unique, because despite the fact that, you know, and this sounds a bit base, despite the fact that our livers are a little bit broken,
Yeah,
um,
hmm
our journeys with the diet and with the condition have all been different. So see, I've turned
yeah,
that round. That fence sitting
and
question has now become quite a good answer. So how about you then? How about you?
yeah. Well, I I never put a comment in today, but my word is
Yeah,
to keep it positive. I My one word is routine.
I think yeah. If you're crap at hitting
So
routines,
it,
the condition is not for you, is it? So
yeah. So that's a positive kind of word to use for my PKU experience anyway, is routine. So just getting a balance and getting used to the idea of taking your protein substitute every day, and like for me, like with my protein substitute, I have a schedule. I always try to aim the same time every day. So I have one here
It's
now.
almost as if we have this planned.
So
there you go.
yeah.
I do have to
this
say,
is,
because we said this when we were just setting up, that we do look like we are a walking advert for low flex. I do have to, because we've both got low flex. I'm like,
yeah.
other supplements are available. There you go.
That's it.
Yeah. So what times do you try and hit with your medicine then?
So like this is my third one. I take 4 a day, and it's a 20. So you can get them in different numbers. There's like I think you take a 10 or something as well, don't you?
Which is that one, and then I have a 10 because I do 3 times a day, up to about 30 each time. So
right, and I do 4 20s a day.
So where are your 4? So you have your breakfast and you have your evening. So where are your other 2 then?
So this is my third
so that would
one
be about
at the moment.
6 then.
So
yeah,
6 o'clock, yeah, and then around, I know it's late, but around 7:30, 9 o'clock, if I'm watching the television, I'll have my last one then.
Is your second like midday?
Around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have mine between 4 to 6, kind of depending on when I have food. So shall we be those annoying people that have our medicine on camera? Go on then. Go on. And I'll have a look at the questions. So
just going to... It looks so wrong now. Oh my god.
That's why I'm doing it off camera. That's why I'm doing it off camera.
Oh my god.
So we have hello from Sharon, hello Jenny, hello Caroline. Caroline says hello to Killian, and hello. All of them say hello because they're saying hello everyone. Reba, my friend, is being very, very like jokey and saying that apparently I'm a famous PKU YouTuber. I'm not. I just cook. I just cook to people. It's fine. So medicine wise, I've got 2 to do. This feels a bit unfair. Do you drink yours quick, or do you savour the taste?
I savour the taste. I can't do it in one go.
I'm going to move my mic away because I had issues with the what's it called? I had issues with the cooking stream that people were saying. Oh, you've gone huge, by the way. There you go. No, just the box. There you go. Do you want to take you take your medicine and then I'll do it once I've set you up?
I am indeed.
You've already done it.
Cool.
Oh,
no, I'm not finished. Like, that's only one sup.
You saved it.
It takes me.
So I am notorious for how quick I take my medicine, just to get it out the way.
Right.
So I'm trying not to get this too like I don't want to be like ASMR or something like that where they're like, oh, talking really deep into the microphone. So
yeah.
So that's that one done.
Oh. Wow.
This feels like pressure. This does. There you go.
No. So I've just taken 2 sups, but I'll finish it now. I'll do one more.
To be honest, like I know people that take it far longer in a sense. It takes them a lot longer to drink it, and I'm like, why would you want to eke out?
Yeah.
Can you drink it on an empty stomach though?
Sometimes like
I get sick.
I've always
drink it on an empty stomach.
Yeah, I've always eaten before even with breakfast, I'd eat my breakfast first and then have it.
Same. I've had to have it sometimes on on an empty stomach, and then I can't eat for another hour. So someone says routine is a good one. Is a good one. How do you maintain the routine while living lives require being on set in theatres and on the go? So for you with a play, because obviously it's a bit different because I'm behind the camera with filming. How do you balance your diet with that? Because I do find that tough a bit. So
Yeah, and do you know what? In theatre and performing arts, you really do have to keep your levels at a good level because in theatre, concentration and you need your memory as well for learning lines and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah, yeah.
to perform on stage. But like it's just having bringing the snacks really, and being able to carry these in as well. So during a break, if I was in rehearsal during the day, I would take it during the lunch break as well. And while I was studying theatre as well, I always had one with me as well. And for lunch, I'd bring in soup and everything, just to heat up soup and stuff. So yeah, it's always in the mind, and for me, before I leave my house, going out the door, I'd have one for my breakfast. And while I'm having it for my breakfast, I'll put the other one in my bag straight away. So when I leave, I have it in my bag.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I
I
mean?
know what you mean. I think it's I when I'm working on set, on shoots,
Hmm.
one levels is a key thing because I'm having to rule and boss people around, and even if it's just me, I have to work to
Yeah.
a good level. Um, for me, I think it's that I always save my exchanges, so I always have a
Hmm.
free food breakfast if I'm on set and I always carry scales because then it's that case of I don't know when people might want to eat chips or eat something that's a takeaway, but I
Hmm.
have the exchanges there to play with. Um, so it's almost
Yeah.
like because there's no routine with when. Well, there is a bit more with theatre, I guess, than there is filming, but there is no like routine of when dinner is or
Yeah.
when snacking is or that sort of thing. So, and I have a bag full of
Yeah.
what I call free food products, but free food like
Hmm.
food. that if I can't
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
bothered to wait for when they want food, I'm just like shoveling it in from the
Yeah.
side. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Um, and so going back as well, when we're on break as well, sometimes if I take out my drink, people are like, "What's that smell?"
they're
um,
trying to look
but
cool though. They're trying to look cool.
yeah, they are. Well, they are pretty cool. um, but going back with to maintain and stuff, like you said, like keeping exchanges to use. I try not to use
Yeah,
exchanges for breakfast because again, I'm only on 6 exchanges a day. So even I stay away from porridge and stuff like that because here in Ireland anyway, 10 grams of porridge would be like one exchange.
yeah.
So there's not really much in 10 grams of porridge.
No,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
only on
So,
like when I do a free food thing. It's bread. I just have bread in the mornings.
mhm.
We have a few questions. So, um,
Okay, cool.
we have how long have you been on the low flex supplements? For either of us, I guess, because Peter is on
Hmm.
4 times sphere a day. We
Hmm.
have. I'm just reading the chat if people are wondering why I'm looking randomly into a corner. Anyone taking GMP? Have you
Cool.
ever tried the GMP products or not? I haven't. I
No,
haven't.
I
No.
haven't. No,
Um,
no.
so wondering how did you get diagnosis with PKU? So when we were born, was that the same with you? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you
It was nearly like 3 or 4 weeks after I was born. As a baby, you get a little heel prick
yeah
test on your foot. So that's when they discovered um, with the
three
PKU
4 weeks is
condition.
quite a long time. I think mine was a few days,
Yeah,
but I
that
can't like
yeah, that's what in Ireland in 1992, the year I
three
was
four
born.
weeks. Wow,
And
wow.
yeah, um, so yeah, I was kind of when I was born as well because there was the 3 or 4 week delay. I was rushed to hospital up to the Temple Street Children's
Hmm.
Hospital in Ireland. So when I was born, I spent a month up in Dublin, which is the capital of Ireland. Um, so I spent a month in
Wow.
hospital because there was a delay. There was a delay in finding out about the PKU. So my mother had to be educated up in Dublin for that whole month.
That sounds
Just, you know what I mean?
intense. That does. To be
Yeah.
honest, when I was born, my mum she just got told that she couldn't like breastfeed me, and then was told to come to the doctor
Right.
the hospital the next day because they didn't have any. They have better procedures now, but it was very, 1992 was not a good time for knowing what the hell to do with people. So,
and I think in 1992 in Ireland it was around. I was baby number 355 around that.
They give you a number. Wow.
Yeah.
You should. That should always be a lucky number. So we've got people.
Yeah.
We've got people that agree that the. Do you feel like it smells like when you drink the protein substitute? Because I've always been paranoid that I think it does, but people tell me otherwise.
Yeah. And you know what though? If someone mentions it to me, that's when I can smell it. That sounds weird.
No, it's true. But, it's true. Like I got quite paranoid, and I'd always have my medicine once I'd left work, because I didn't want people to think that oh my god. And I always got paranoid that it would smell. But then like previous partners and stuff said, it really doesn't smell. And I'm like, are you just saying that, or is it like it's more your paranoid mind that thinks that, isn't it? What else have we got? We've got people on powder sachets. I have half powder, half ready made. Do you have pure low flex or just?
I have at the moment I have the low flex, the liquid one, but I always do take the powder one. It was just with the pharmacy they made a mistake this time in my order, so I was just like, I felt so bad because I had 3 big boxes full, and I didn't want to say to them, well, I take the powder, so I just said I'll take them for now. But the next time when I go in, I want the powder. But going back to these, so it's so handy just to, when you're going away from home in town, just open it out and drink it. It's so handy.
I've made it up cold, like made up powder cold, and that's the worst thing that I've ever drank in my entire life.
I was waiting to bring this up because I remember you saying it in Turkey.
So bad.
When you were saying it about bringing a kettle and everything to make it hot, and I'm like, what? I have never.
You need to have the kettle life. The kettle life is far. Like when you told me that, I was like, because so for context for people, when I travel, and we'll get on to traveling in a bit, but when I travel, I take a travel kettle with me because obviously the plus side with these are they're great, but they're quite big, so they take up a lot of space. So I have a mixture of powder and a mixture of ready-made when I go abroad. So I always take a kettle with me in case the hotel doesn't have a kettle. But that's because I've only ever, realistically, ever want to have powder with hot water. But then Killian's like, I've never had powder with hot water.
How about, is there people going into the comments now? I'd love to know if they have it hot as well.
There you go, comments. We need to hear from people that have had powder, if you've ever had it with a kettle or ever had it cold. We'll leave them to do their... What else have we got? We have got... GMP doesn't smell that bad. I think that's probably why they've started to do it, because the smell's been proven to be less.
Mm-hmm.
I only drink it cold. Low flex powder from Stuart, and he's only ever drank it cold. To be okay, so my hot one is not with low flex powder. Mine's with VitaFlow Express. So I guess so people are asking why I have 2 different supplements. The honesty is my chemist or my doctors doesn't want to give me full ready made because it costs too much. So my halfway house is have half powder, have half ready made. They've allowed that, but the powder I have is from VitaFlow PKU Express, just because that's always what I've always had, and I used to have it with a dash of Vimto in it too, because it unflavoured sounds so so a dash of Vimto adds in a little bit of things. Sissy's been paranoid about smell. A lot of people are on tablets now, aren't they? Have you ever considered the tablet life, or is it?
I haven't, because with being a classic PKU, they were saying that there's not really a chance that it could work for someone with classic PKU. So I never I never went about getting tested for it.
I
To be
know
honest.
that's the big
But
thing, isn't it? At
I
the
think
moment, the tablet stuff. So I just don't want to drink that many tablets. So couldn't think of anything worse than. Okay, so it's not boil. People are saying I couldn't think of anything worse than hot supplements. It's not boiling hot. I put boiling water in, add in a bit of cold, and it's like lukewarm.
Yeah.
People think I'm scalding my throat from my supplements. So Jenny, hopefully that reassures you.
Actually, going back to the tablets. Now I know what you mean about the tablets for the protein substitute, because I heard someone like to take over 70 tablets a day.
The numbers are crazy. If you're on tablets in the chat, let me know how many tablets you are on, and me and Killian will judge on whether we feel like we could take that many tablets or not. I don't think I could. GP, to be honest, they're saying the GPs are bad at the cost. I think I don't know how you find with your GPs or with your structure.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to push them too much. If you know what I mean, like you want to push enough, but not too much that they start to just get really annoyed with you. So you got to pick your battles in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you find it?
Yeah. Oh, for me, I just want to be on their good side, because even when it comes to the chemist, it's nearly like a great success when the order is correct when I get an order. Like, for example, the last time I ended up getting the liquid, but I always get the powder. So I try not to
intervene too much.
Yeah. Sometimes the less I get, the better for them, I think.
Well, I got rejected by a chemist the once because there was too many boxes, that I was a health and safety risk, and they refused to serve me. And I was like, can they do this? And I was like, this is a bit unfair. It's the first time actually, apart from eating out, it's the first time anything but eating out I faced like a little bit of discrimination. And I was like, I can't help it if everything comes in boxes. So it's I was a bit like, but that's because I get loaves and that sort of thing. So and they were just like, can't you get that from supermarkets? And I'm like, no, you can't.
That's it. Speaking of loaves, in Ireland there was this bread that was made, and it would get delivered to the chemist on a Wednesday, and what was going on with the recipe for the bread, you really had to go in and pick it on the day it was delivered, because after a day or two, it kind of gets moldy and stuff. So when you get the bread, you had to bring them straight into a freezer, to save them. So obviously, I don't take that bread anymore because it's so stressful, and I'll have to get another big freezer to store all the bread. So I'm not going with that bread. So I just use the low profile sliced pan bread.
I think ones that have a bit of a longer days. I've had a few mouldy loaves turn up in the chemist, and you're just a bit like, you can deal with that. I'm not taking this home. We've got a few questions. What are your favourite PKU recipes? So Killian, we will. I'll pass that over to you while I read the others. Well,
my favourite recipe, and I actually done it last Sunday, is a creamy mushroom lasagna.
Explain to me what's how do you make that? What's that made out of then?
Well, the low profile lasagna sheets is what I use.
I've only just got them. I've never tried them. So yeah.
Oh really? Well, I the very first time I made the lasagna, this may sound embarrassing and stupid, but do you know the way you have to kind of boil your pasta, whatever your normal pasta and spaghetti? Well, when I made my lasagna, I never half boiled the lasagna sheets. So I just put
had them unboiled.
Yeah.
That's crunchy.
Yeah. So that was my. It was crunchy, let me tell you. So I learned my lesson from that. So the next time I done it, then I think I better boil the lasagna sheets, and it made a difference. Let me tell you, it made a big difference.
Merge with the rest of the thing a lot better, I'm guessing.
Definitely.
So we've had 80 tablets. I know.
Oh wow.
Fair play, Lucy.
Yeah.
Fair play. How do you spread them out? She says she spreads them out. I would, that's a lot of tablets. But if it helps you with the diet, then that's the main thing. On flexi tablets, I know you have to have a lot of them. Favorite PKU recipe for me? I don't know.
Take
what have I cooked that I've liked? I like cakes, so I'm a big fan of cakes. But is that a recipe?
Yeah. Sure. And the last time we spoke, you mentioned about the sweet. Did you do the sweet potato fries?
Obviously that's not. I do. I make my own sweet potato fries, which I love sweet potato, but it's not necessarily PKU. But I do really like making sweet potato fries, and I tried that for the first time on my stream. And I was pleasantly surprised. So I now do that like that, unless I'm feeling really lazy, and then I go for a frozen pack. You go. I'm just reading.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, going back to your favorite PKU recipe. So you said you like cakes and stuff.
Probably, I love like buttercream cakes, but mainly for the buttercream.
Oh.
I love like apple muffins. I haven't had apple muffins in a while. I'm kind of craving that. So apple muffins probably would be a thing. But then probably once I've had it, I'll be like, But it's something that you haven't had for quite a while. You start to desire, don't you?
I try not to bake a lot of kind of sweet stuff because I've been to my dietitian a few times, and calories and even the biscuits, even the low protein biscuits, even though they're free from exchanges, they're still calories and they still add up.
I think the prescription food is so calorific, it's ridiculous. How did you find taking the supplements as a teenager, having to take them out with going out with friends? How did you find eating out with friends at this age too? So mainly a teenage focus with that. So you can go and then I'll answer if you want.
So like with every teenager, if you're going to the cinema or whatever, you might end up going to a takeaway like McDonald's or something like that. So it's kind of like growing up as a child, going into my teenager years, that my mother was so she was so protective of me anyway, and I'm so grateful for my mother for being like that. You know what I mean? So with the help, not that I needed the help, but my mother was always there to guide me. And if I was going into town with friends and growing up, I would try to eat as much free foods as I could before going into town. So I would have a small portion of fries or whatever, and just really use all my exchanges up on them. That's the only way you can.
I think it's quite similar to what we had earlier with how do you cope with working, like on a theatre set or a film set.
Yeah.
For me, it was, if you feel like you're going to go out for a meal with your friends, but then that needs to be factored in at the start of the day, with your food choices, in a sense, with making sure that you have enough exchanges, and with having my medicine. If the smell idea would, but also I reached a point where my friends around me, I don't know about you, Killian, but my friends around me all knew about it. Yeah. All were fine about it. So I just used to drink it. And also, to be honest, I used to mock them because they were like, it does smell. And they're like, oh my God, how do you drink this? And I was like, if I don't drink this, I'll die. It's a bit extreme because I won't. Yeah. But they found it. I think if you make a lighthearted and sort of joke about it, it's less of a thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I have friends like that too as well. I have loads of friends. The majority of my friends know about my PKU diet. And it's funny because if we're in town, if we go into a pound store or a euro store, and my friends will be like, can you have that? Can you have that? Can you have that? So they would always remind me, so I'm always checking with them as well. And if even a mineral drink, a soft drink, looking at I don't think you could have that. That has a
Yeah.
Spartamine.
they,
Like,
they become your
you know what I
your
mean?
best ally, don't they? In a sense, and
They do, yeah,
I've held
yeah,
I've had chocolate bars before when I was a teenager of like
yeah.
dark chocolate that obviously we can have, and they're just like, oh,
Hmm.
are you allowed to eat that? And I'm like, well, thanks for checking up on me, but yes, I can. But it's I
Yeah,
think to be honest, if you hide it from day one, it's hard to then make it be accessible to them.
yeah,
For me, with teenage, one, maturity of people increase, so they become a lot more tolerant.
yeah,
But also there's the case of, I don't know, I think if you're just open with it, the right people will accept you, the wrong
yeah.
people won't. So
And this is it. This is so funny because I have a friend. We're still friends, and when I was like 14, I think I told a friend of mine that I had PKU, and they were like, "Sorry, what?" And I was like, "PKU, Pikachu." so, so, so to this day, with that friend, if we do end up talking about PKU, she still calls it Pikachu. Pikachu.
it's
Oh,
obviously
stop.
lasted with her. So I met a person
Yeah.
recently who had heard of PKU without me having to
Right.
explain what PKU was, and I was like, you realise that you've taken so much of my conversation topics now. Like, I don't have to explain
Yeah.
it to you. So, what am I meant to talk about now? And I'm like, normally, because you have to explain everything and
Yeah.
what I can and can't have and that sort of thing. It was very bizarre.
And 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 you know, this is a funny story now for me, but it's only in the past year I'm only saying phyllocytinuria.
Oh, you used the full one.
Phyllocytinuria. It took me ages to say the word.
I don't.
So all my life,
Phenylketonuria. Yeah.
PKU, and they're like, "What? What does PKU stand for?" Just Google it. I'm like that because I can feel it. Phyllocytinuria is that's the long word for PKU.
I think, yeah,
Anyway,
like, I don't
so
think about it. I think they may have asked, and I may have gone, I can say it, but I can't spell it. Certainly can't spell. Jesus.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
No,
I can't
I think
spell
that's
it
probably
at
what we'll
all
get when
either.
we're about
So
40. How do you,
yeah,
I think people around, I think the people around me don't understand. It's just annoying when they're, I think like, someone saying about is it annoying or they're just saying that it's annoying when people ask questions. I think for me, no one's heard of it until you tell them. So everybody's going to have a lot of
mm,
questions about the diet, or about the condition, because it's so different than anything that they've experienced. So you will have silly questions. You will have questions that are inherently, very obvious or very. But I think personally, I don't know about you, I'd rather be questioned
mm,
than mocked, in a sense. And I've had both, and I'd much
yeah,
rather have questioning because then I can educate. Even if it slowly gets through
yeah.
and it takes ages, it's still educating rather than like them dismissing it. So
Mm. And when I talk to people, when people ask me what it is, I try to be as short as possible. And I'm like, oh, my condition, I can't take in a lot of protein, so I can't eat the meat and the fish and all that. So basically, you're a vegetarian then. That's the answer, I
because
guess.
I'm naturally vegan anyway, so I just go, I'm vegan.
Yeah,
And they're like, okay, they don't have to ask.
yeah,
And then when the scales come out, then they start to go, oh, he's a bit more than just a vegan. But people have thought that I'm just a vegan on
mm,
Weight Watchers. So, which is quite funny,
right.
to say the least. Prepay?
And speaking of Weight Watchers and stuff, I'm not in Weight Watchers, but I've been in Slimming World, so I have lost over a
Ooh.
stone and a half in Slimming World. So for anyone asking, it is possible to be on the PKU diet and
I
to
think
lose the weight as well.
it's really conscious eating then, isn't it? And really planning out your meals and that
Mm.
sort of thing. Uh,
And it's the portions as well.
because I
You
think
know,
especially the prescription food, it's about being smaller portions, isn't it, rather than maybe the suggested because they're
yeah,
quite big. How do you tell people
yeah,
you get to know about your PKU? This isn't necessarily teenage, so this is just people that we come into contact with, new friends or work colleagues or that sort of thing. I know the way that I explain it, so I don't know how. It's probably not as blunt as the way that I explain it. But how do you explain to like colleagues, to other people that you come into contact with? Is it as quick and short as you said? Or?
I try to keep it as short as possible, and nearly not every person, but a few times, I've heard of that. So I'm lucky sometimes as well. But I don't say it to anyone really till I have the food out in front of me, because I feel there's like, it's not your typical chicken ham sandwich or something like that, or so it's just like I'd have crackers with a bit of butter and jam, the PKU crackers.
Yeah, that
And
box
they're like,
does not look normal.
Yeah. So that's when I have to say, so I have PKU. It's a metabolic disorder, where feeling lanolin breaks down. There's like, I say, like, there's a piece of my gene missing in my body, and it can't break down in so much protein and whatever like that. So that's the detail. And then I'm like, it's just loads of information on the internet.
Here's the URL.
So
for me, I think like I'm a little bit similar. I think I am just very, because I'm always eating when I'm at work. I'm quite bad. I eat a lot. Well, when I do in office teaching and that sort of thing, when I'm on location, not just in my house, I eat a lot. So for me, that comes up a lot more often. But I just go, hey, my liver's a bit weird. You saw probably on my Facebook post today to explain what I was actually doing to my Facebook friends, going, it's my weird liver's International Day. So I say my liver's a bit weird. Yeah. I'm basically vegetarian, not by choice, vegan by choice. I can't have most things that you can have, and then make a joke and say that all I do is eat bushes, and that kind of automatically makes people feel at ease, and they're like, "Oh my god, what happens if you eat the wrong thing?" And I go, I will get brain damage, and they're like, "Oh damn, okay, I'll listen to you a lot more."
That's what I say as well. Like, oh, it could lead into brain damage. And they're like, so if you eat it straight away.
Oh yeah, I've had the if I eat a wrong thing, I don't instantly end up in a wheelchair. Don't worry. And I think a lot of them then are very concerned about saying or making me eat anything, because then it's they're like, oh my god, will he just get brain damage instantly? Or some people have been cruel and said that it's already happened, and I'm like, oh come on now. So I think it's quite, I think you just got to be open in relation back to the question. If you present it off as a jokey, not fussed, it doesn't bother me, it shouldn't bother you mentality, that's the mentality that they'll have. Do you find that with your friends?
Yeah.
And I think if you try and hide anything, if you try and blend in, then you're building it on a level of distrust, aren't you, in a sense? And then when do you ever come out as proper, this is what I really eat, sort of thing?
Yeah. But the best thing is, don't be afraid to tell people, because when you do tell people, it does get easier. Like I said, and like you said, my friends were like, oh, can you have this? I don't think you could have this. Or checking the drinks, you know what I mean?
Your friends sound exactly like my friends that are even more cautious than me. Like, they're looking at a menu going, that's it. What can you really have? And I'm like, straight to the sides. So people are really enjoying the questions and answers. That's cool. Have you had this? Because I have, where you're in a restaurant or a lunch and you can't have anything. I don't personally have anything then. I've been in... So I was in Belgium once, filming, and Belgium's really bad because it's meat and bread as a combo of German and France combination. And everybody was there for a dinner, and I was eating crisps under the table. And all I had in front of me, which is probably a bad thing to have, is just a tequila sunrise. So I look like an alcoholic instead of someone that didn't have any food. It's a hard thing. I think you've just got to stay with your guts. And
it is. and for me, going out for food in the restaurant, and with friends as well, I always feel so bad because um, oh yeah, we'll check the menu first, and so they always check the menu first because of me. So to see, can is there anything on the menu that I can eat, or if my friends do say, oh, let's go and get something to eat. Killian,
Yeah,
where do you want to go?
it always
So it's
defaults. It always
always
defaults,
me.
and I've gone as long as they sell chips.
Yeah,
I'll go anywhere. Like,
yeah,
and then they're like, "Oh, we can actually choose something,"
yeah,
because all the time it's defaulting to me. Um, do you have
yeah.
problems like me? I guess this is feeding off what you're saying with the Slimming World weight thing. Do you have problems controlling your weight?
Hmm.
And it's hard for this for this person to lose weight. Um, Exercise for me is a huge thing.
Right.
I've done a lot of
Hmm.
yoga over lockdown, and I've lost a fair bit of weight for that, even
Hmm.
if I haven't eaten anything different. Um, so I
Yeah,
think it's active really with this diet is key, but also what you said about portion
yeah.
sizes too.
Hmm. Yeah. No, exercise is definitely key. Like for my exercise, it's a walk, and going for a walk is something to look forward to. For me anyway, you know what I mean. Just get out and get the air. It clears your mind as well. So definitely, exercise is important when you are losing weight as well. You know, but yeah, going back to losing weight, I remember the first week I joined Slimming World because it was a big change. You know what I mean? You're the first week of trying to maintain
Yeah.
the diet and the Slimming World diet. I was like, oh my god, it was you'd when you start on a diet, you could lose about 5 to 6 pounds in the first week
Yeah.
because there's such a big change.
Yeah.
But I did a blood my first week after um, joining the Slimming World and everything, and I was just under 600, so I was 535, which was good for me because I have to be in the bracket of 120 to 600. So I was delighted.
Because it is hard. It is hard with
And
those
even on
levels.
the
When you're
diet,
losing, it's hard to keep the levels, isn't it? That's the thing.
yeah, yeah, it's and even when I was on the diet, I think it even helps you to have your protein substitute shake as well. It really, besides thinking of what you're going to eat, you have to take your protein substitute, and yeah, so yeah, with the blood and everything, like it does work. Like
I
it's
think.
just
Yeah,
my
I
one
think the
word
supplement
routine.
is quite calorific. I would give you that on the. But I do
Yeah.
what I would say, especially when you're trying to lose weight, is the supplement is there to give you all the
Mm,
minerals and the nutrients that you might be say missing by cutting out certain foods in your diet when you're trying
of
to lose
course.
weight. So
And for me as well, like even though I was on the diet, I still ate a bar of chocolate. You know what I mean? So it's not
oh
like you
no,
have to give
I
up
think for me
everything.
it really is that
Um,
active lifestyle, and I think no matter what you
yeah.
eat, if you are active enough, it will always counteract.
Mm.
Well, that could be proven differently, but
And if that's it. But if you're joining and want to lose weight, like you do a food diary as well. So what I did a food diary myself, and then what I did was so in Slimming World, like sins. So basically a chocolate bar. So I might have 6 sins in a Curly Wurly chocolate bar, and that could be like one
yeah,
exchange of protein for me. So I'd have, when I was writing it down, 6 sins and one exchange. And in Slimming World for a man, it's over 20 sins
okay,
a day you can have.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? So that's trying to balance. Once you have a
yeah, yeah.
balance, do you know what I mean? And and the
Cool.
exercise.
Is there any more questions? I think a lot of people are commenting going that they're enjoying doing the walking, they're enjoying exercise. A lot of people have found
Hmm.
today really useful, hearing from different voices, which is good. I think, and this is
Hmm.
probably why I said at the start. Do put any questions in the chat, and we will get around to them. But I do think that's why we said at the start about this journey is unique to everyone, isn't it? There's
It is,
commonalities,
yeah.
so there's common products that we use and that sort of thing, but our outlook on it, our differences, it is quite different in that sense.
Yeah. I'd actually love to know, where is
so
everyone from?
We've got Manchester,
is there
we've got London. If you put in the chat where you're from, for technical aspect, and also for Killian's internet, I'm the one that can read the chat. So Killian can't read the chat. So please put in the chat, and I will relay to Killian where you're all from.
My internet's not that bad now today.
When we tested this a couple of days ago, it was quite bad.
Yeah.
Do we have kids? We do not. I don't know about you, Killian.
No.
I do not have kids.
Oh.
I'm just looking after myself enough.
So you cut out there.
I said I'm just looking after myself at the moment. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm single anyway, so I don't have any kids.
There you go. So we've got Maryland, USA. We've got Istanbul, Turkey.
Oh,
did you fly through Istanbul when you went to the ESPKU?
I did, yeah.
I flew through Dusseldorf, so I went German to the thingy. Me and Killian met through ESPKU. We have Surrey. I'm going to test if you know where all these places are now, Killian. So
oh my God.
We have Surrey.
That's in the UK.
That is in the UK.
Sir.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Derbyshire. Wolverhampton. Limerick. So we've got. So that's
Limerick. That's where I'm from.
Saoirse Carroll. Do you know Saoirse?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yes, a good friend of mine who's always asking, "Can I take this or can I take that?"
Is she the mineral water person? Is that the?
Yeah.
Deirdre Carroll.
And she's also my. Yeah, that's her sister.
Southampton, Birmingham, Germany. Monica is a Spanish girl in London. She has a PKU brother in Spain.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
It's a really, really range of people. Hopefully you can understand us. That's the main thing.
And if there's anyone over in the UK that's related to casting directors agencies, hit me up because I want to star in the West End. So thank you.
Get that plug in. Get that plug in. There you go. We were going to talk a bit about. So we've done medicine. We have got a plan. I have it on my notepad. We're going to talk a little bit about travelling. So what's your best travel experience and what's your worst travel experience? While the chat's thinking of what questions to ask.
So I think every travelling experience, I'm always getting stopped at security. So, and then it's because of the weight of the protein substitutes, because even if I'm just bringing on a carrier bag, I'd have my whole day of protein substitutes in the bag. So yeah, always getting stopped, always getting the bag searched. And the protein substitutes always still get checked, even though I have my letter from the hospital to say that I'm on this diet and I have to carry this on board and I have to do all this.
How do they check?
So,
Do they get you to taste it? Have they got you to taste it before?
No, they literally, this is no word of a lie, they have like these scanners and they can put them into the machine and scan them the whole lot. Yeah, but for me traveling, I don't let traveling stop me from going anywhere. I've been to Disneyland Paris, I've been to Spain, and when I book into a hotel, I always love to go for hotels that have an a la carte kind of menu, so that you just go around and pick out the food yourself. Yeah. So,
because you can guarantee food that way, can't you? Yeah,
that's it, and you know what you're putting onto your own plate as well. Yeah. So, that's what I do personally anyway. If I'm traveling,
yeah, I've done all inclusive before. I either do all inclusive or self catering, so it's that element of control with food, in a sense.
And I remember years ago, growing up as a child, when I went on family holidays, my mother used to pack so much food. She used to be packing packets of crisps. She used to be packing chocolate bars. She'd have all the ingredients for my protein substitutes. She'd have everything. So, but when I'm traveling now, look, the only thing I would bring over is milk, the bread, and the protein substitutes.
Oh wow! You have the
Yeah,
powdered
so
milk then? Or
not the
do
powdered
you
milk.
have glass
No,
milk?
I use the Pro Zero
Ah,
milk that's
okay.
available for
Oh, I couldn't
PKU
travel with
people.
that. I think it would get
Really?
broken all the time. Like I think it would
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like I'd end up with milk all in my case.
Yeah. No, I've been kind of lucky, you know. But there has been one or two holidays where I would, if I went somewhere for a week, I would try and last in a 1 liter carton of milk for the week,
Oh my god!
and it has worked. Do you know,
Are
like
you having like
the
a
like
shot glass a day of milk? Is that?
you know, but well, like to be honest, if I'm going on holidays, I'm not really a tea or coffee drinker on a holiday because with the hot weather,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I, you know what I mean. So I would use mostly my milk for the cereal in the morning. So if I do travel, to make it easier though, the 1 liter carton of milk would be rice milk or coconut milk. You know,
Yeah. We've had. I don't know if you met
so
Denise from. She's the person that runs the Turkey PKU. She says that Turkey should be the best travel experience that we've
right.
had because of obviously going to ESPKU. So
Oh my, you know, Tom, it the food was oh my god. You know, there I don't know if you remember, but they actually have a cafe over in Turkey in Istanbul. I think it's Istanbul, and they have a cafe with all like low protein
I
foods.
heard of that because when I was at the
Um,
ESPKU, they did the little. I
yeah,
think they did a presentation about it, didn't they?
they did, and also they were the ones who catered the
Ah,
food.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, for the meals and stuff. But it was such an amazing experience. And imagine just walking into a whole restaurant and the whole display is PKU buffet, and it's all
And,
just
and and
PKU
at that
food,
point,
PKU.
you
You
weren't.
know, just
It's Weight Watchers was out the window, wasn't
oh,
it? No,
definitely,
and Denise is saying it's called
it
the
definitely
PKU
was.
Cafe. Yes, I remember the PKU Cafe. I was like, it sounds like we'll have to travel to
Yeah,
Istanbul just to go to the PKU Cafe. Um, do you
definitely.
travel? Yeah. So Monica said, do you travel with your milk? My milk's powdered, so that's a little bit easier. I mean, how do you have
Right.
one suitcase? I normally travel with my low flex powder and maybe bread. I take bread, medicine. Um, I,
Hmm.
because I know that I'm going to eat out a lot when I'm abroad. I don't bother with cereal, to be honest.
Hmm.
So I don't take milk ever when I go abroad. Um, so I take
Hmm.
bread and medicine, and then if
Hmm.
it's like if
Right.
I'm taking say students aboard, then I know that a lot
Hmm.
of my colleagues are going to want to eat out multiple times a day because they just want to
Hmm.
savour all the food of the area. So I have loads of free food. So I actually have a lot of free food that is in my case instead of any PKU food. Because I don't know about you, I find
Right.
abroad is really hard for no exchange food. It's really easy for exchange food.
Hmm.
It's really
Yeah, it
hard for
is.
no exchange food. So I
Hmm.
always take
Yeah.
loads of exchange free food with me. So I don't know about you. Do you do that, or is that
Hmm.
just me being the greedy pig that I am?
Like to be honest, I try not to upset my journey really, and I just take every day as I come. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, again, like I don't bring over crisps and stuff like that over on the holiday because if I can travel as light as possible, that's the best I would do. But yeah, it's just um, during the day, like just balancing out again. It's your breakfast and your lunch and your dinner.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And when you're away, you're always going to eat out the whole time,
Exactly.
I
Like,
think.
unless you do this like
So,
going back but in an all inclusive, I always have like salad and chips. So exchange food
mhm,
is the I need to keep that sort of thing. But yeah, I normally take a lot of
yeah,
food in the case just because One, I can guarantee it, but two, if I'm say on a university trip, the university have paid for that food. So I go shopping before the trip and then claim the food back off the university, which is quite funny. If they watch this now, I don't do that at all. So don't. The ESPKU in Izmir was really good. We're not being forced to say that. We generally do agree. Really friendly people in Turkey. It was really good to actually hear what other countries are doing, in a sense.
It was, and I got to meet you as well. So, and that's how we got to know each other as well.
So too bad. So that's the. You can get an extra case on some airlines for medical purposes. I've never bothered doing that. I haven't because I don't want to cause too much fuss. So I normally just have less clothes. Not too many, less that I don't have any clothes to wear. But my weight is more favoured towards my diet than it is me having a range of clothes to choose from. So that's just me. I don't know about you, Killian.
Yeah. No, I have never brought an extra bag of just for the food at all. So yeah, no, I haven't really. But I have heard that there is like I can't think of the name, but there is like a carrier that if you get in contact with your local customer service and they can bring over your food and your drinks over to wherever you're going.
Okay, so they come later.
I don't know.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard of it. I don't know what it's
so
called.
I haven't tried
heard of it.
Yeah. So I haven't tried that yet myself, but it does work for some people and it doesn't work for others.
Yeah, I think it's just about. So. I think the like we had. I don't know if you were growing up, but I certainly had the stigma of that you can't go travelling. It's really hard to travel on the diet. Obviously, I haven't done much travelling this year, but last year I did 4 different countries in a year, so it's doable. It's just that planning, and like you said at the start, with the routine. So if you don't mind a bit of routine, you can do it. So have we got any more?
That's it, definitely.
Suzanne saw my case at the ESPKU and it was big. It's a huge case. It is a huge case. It's always overweight too. Monica wants to contact more people to talk about PKU. I will copy that email and I will send that to you, Killian. Because obviously he's not being ignorant. He just can't see the chat. There you go.
No, sorry guys.
It's more for the quality of his feed than anything. What milk powder do you have? I have Duacow Nutritia super soluble. It's powder. It used to be liquids. They decided to care about the environment with all the bottles, so they went to powder. Still to decide whether it's better. I think it's actually more work. Do
you bring the powder to work?
No, so I only have milk in the morning. Because I just live off either that. In terms of coffee and teas, I'm guessing you're meaning. I have black coffee, just black coffee all the time. Hard stuff.
All right.
But for me, it's the nutrition powder is actually a lot of effort because you have to weigh it before adding water to then make your milk, and it's just a lot of hassle. So that's probably why I don't take it abroad.
Would you have to make it on the spot the whole time, or can you prepare it in the morning and just leave it in the fridge?
I've never tried it, but after about, because it's quite oily, after about like an hour, it starts to separate a bit more. So I'm a bit like, do I want to leave that and then shake it up and it takes? So I always make it fresh. It's just, it just takes a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it's like extra weighing for the sake of weighing, which is a bit counterintuitive when it's a prescription item. What does a daily life of food look like for you then, Killian? While we wait for any questions.
Well, I'll give today as an example. So, with breakfast, I had 2 slices of the bread with banana, I don't really, because of being on the Cinnamon World diet and stuff, I don't try to use butter as much as I used to. So I just use a banana on the bread, and I'd have my tea or coffee with that. So that would be my breakfast, and then for lunch, I had a bit of a yogurt and a fruit salad.
A lot more healthy.
So
a lot more healthier than what I'd made.
now that's not every day now, but
it's a special international PKU day.
I'm not always. Yeah, I'm not always healthy, but for my dinner today though, I am actually making homemade chips for my dinner today.
Yeah, because we were talking about this before, that you make homemade chips, and I've never made homemade chips because I'm inherently lazy. But what are you? Do you have anything on your chips, or is it just cut potatoes in an oven? Or
yeah. What I do is, even when I'm putting the potato into the oven, I use a fry light spray, and I use the garlic flavored fry light. So it's a garlic flavor, and then I use the Vitalife cheese. So I'd put that on the chips as well for them to melt on the potato chips. So I pretend, oh, that's my garlic cheese chip.
Cheesy chips, though. I've never tried. Yeah. Anybody watching us tried cheesy chips? We will see, because I know that they sell them in chippies, don't they? I think, or it's yeah.
They would.
Are they? In terms of
sometimes.
Have you tried many other cheeses than just the Violite, or is it? Okay.
No, that's the only one, because I know there's a cocoa cheese brand as well. I only use the cocoa yogurts and stuff, but I haven't used their cheese. But as another snack that I usually do is, obviously I have a toasty maker, so I love putting a chopped tomato and the cheese in that as well. So that's a nice toasty as well as a snack.
So you're gonna get everybody hungry now watching. Well, we have a vote for I love cheesy chips. Makers. Yeah. So I haven't tried them. So to be fair, it's only in the last couple of years that I've started to have cheese on pizza. So that was a new thing for me that I only discovered a couple of years ago, because I'd always have veg pizzas. A daily life for me. Yeah. I guess it's a little bit different because obviously I'm at 9 exchanges now, aren't I? And you're at 6. So.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I hate being that person that's like, oh yeah, look at all this food I've had, and you're like, so yeah, it's what's it called? Yeah, so I have cereal in the morning, typically, or if I'm wanting to indulge later on, bread. And then I have either snacks, depending on if I'm working. I normally have snacks that are just quick to eat things over lunch. Yeah. And then I have a little light snack about 4:00, mainly so I can have my medicine. And then dinner wise, it's a salad with a potato item, or pasta, or something that's a bit more of a meal sort of thing. I don't know what I'm having tonight, because I've had pizza for lunch, so everything's been thrown a bit out of the way. Yeah.
And do you know at night time do you get cravings? What's your go-to food at night? Because at night time I tend to go out to the kitchen and I'm
Are you like Nigella Lawson?
What,
who's in the middle of the night and she's the cooking show and starts to eat? For me, it's at the moment I've got jelly tots in. So because jelly tots have all of a sudden become I don't know if they've become recently, but I've only just known that they've become vegan again. So I haven't had them in years.
Right.
Now I've got jelly tots in. So I've got a little quite similar to actually this light here. But the lid pops out. Yeah. And inside is jelly tots. So I kind of go and have a little delve occasionally. On every other day is what I kind of tell myself, because every day is a bit excessive and it makes me feel a little bit but every other day is a bit more understandable. We have
Cool.
we have two questions. Do you have any problems with thyroid? I don't. I haven't had any actively said to me.
No, but I haven't either myself. But I have. I was in a hospital before. Like they were like mini ulcers, but they weren't like in my stomach. And what happened was it's just the acid reflux, whatever, and I ended up in the hospital for a week. So not in anything really with the thyroid as such, but it was just
Okay.
acid reflux,
Yeah,
really.
it's quite an acidic
You know.
diet, isn't it? So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? For me, I've never had anything with thyroid, but she said that she's taking, I think it's some tablet for it. I think, to be honest, I don't know how old you are, Monica, but it's that case of, I don't know about you. I certainly feel like we're kind of guinea pigs. Kind of like people don't know where we're going. In the sense, if you stick to diet and you don't know
Yeah.
what all these, what does it's kind of like a deep question, but it is kind of, there's times where I do feel like we are a bit like, we're setting the way for what would happen. So yeah, I don't know. We may do in the future, but it's kind of a learning process as we go along, isn't it? So, have you ever been told an untruth? So a lie, basically, to your PKU dietitian, either of you? Yeah,
Have I told them a lie, or have they told me a lie?
Lie to us. So I'm guessing it's. Have you ever lied
Oh,
to
yeah.
them?
Sorry. Um. So
The truth's coming out now. The truth's coming.
you know, it's part. No, but it's just sometimes I don't know what it's like over in the UK, but as part of your hospital appointment, I go once a year, and as part of the hospital appointment, you have to give like a basic kind of day-to-day routine of what way you'd eat. So sometimes they'll say, "Oh, bring a food diary, whatever," but I always end up doing it on the spot.
Do you become really elaborate with your foods?
And they're yeah. So I'm like literally thinking about what I'm eating, trying in my head, trying to maintain. Does this sound good? Does that sound right?
All of a sudden,
On
you
the
look like a
spot.
professional chef that's always making stuff.
Yeah.
I think the food diary is a hard
Yeah.
thing. Like, and when they say like, what does a typical day look like?
Yeah.
And then when I go for a typical day, like I just did, I realise how boring it sounds.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you want to jazz it up a little bit? I've never lied anything about like how I'm dealing with the condition, but the food diary, or what do you eat daily, does become a bit more like, you know. I know for a fact I've got a battle between my dietitians and my dentist. My dentist hates me eating sweets, but I need calories for my diet. So it's but no, I haven't told. But I think, as I only see my dietitian once a year as you do, sometimes sometimes you feel like you really want to talk to them, and then sometimes you're just doing it because you feel like you have to, sort of thing. So it really depends on what your mindset is like that day. It depends on how into the appointment you're going to be.
That's it. Yeah. So basically on this chat so far, we've covered traveling, we've covered what we're eating during the day, the protein substitutes. So
I think if there's any other final questions, social media wise, and what the general thoughts of the community sort of thing, and what support do you think should be out there for people? What do you think, like, is what from your observations?
Well, today has been great. The social media pages that I'm on have been so active today because of International PKU Day. You know, sharing food, sharing pictures of achievements and stuff like that. But I think that should be every day or every week. So what everyone's doing today should do that the whole time. You know what I mean? And it's so good. I know there's everywhere has groups like in the UK and in Ireland. We've we've had occasions where we got to meet up as a group and got to meet people in person as well. So having the social media is a great platform to organize all these kind of things. And hopefully with the after the lockdown and COVID-19, I think a lot more gathering occasions with people with PKU should happen more
Yeah.
than what it used to. But again, social media is it's keeping everyone kind of motivated and active, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
I'd echo it. I
yeah,
think it's for me with social media. I'm very positive. I'm a very positive person, and I
hmm
think that when you do days like this, you realise how positive things can be. And I think there's
yeah,
time and a place for not issues, but there's time and a place for things that like struggling, and we understand that that takes place and that sort of thing.
yeah,
But then it is also about trying to put your best foot forward. I think with all this sort of stuff. So yep,
yeah,
completely agree.
and and of course, on with that as well, I think a lot of parents, I see a lot of parents posting in the group and about their newborns. You know, with PQ,
Yeah.
don't be worried, don't be stressed. Like we're old now and everything, and even the difference compared
Yeah.
to years ago. We said this before, like all these non-dairy cheese products, these cocoa yogurts that could be like one exchange of protein. There was a time when we were growing up,
No.
we didn't have any of
You
that.
couldn't really buy anything in the
So,
supermarket at
so
all.
there is
So yeah.
no, no, and like I've even discovered last week, and they are so lovely, fishless fingers,
Ah,
and
are they the
they're like
corn
one
ones?
exchange
Are they
per
corn?
finger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, like the smell and the
Well, I think
taste.
that's. I think
Oh,
it's what you said though, and I think
you know
that's
what I
it's a
mean?
good thing that we. You kind of need to, like, especially with newborns and with people, it's that case of understanding where we are, understanding that ready-made
hmm
medicine wasn't even a thing until about 10 years ago. So
No,
it's
like, and going back on that as well, years ago. Oh my God, the amount of food blenders my mother had to get because we'd have to travel as well with the food blender to mix the orange juice and the powder and everything to make the protein substitute. And with the powder and everything, the blades in the bottom used to get
yeah.
they used to rot. And so growing up, my mother, she went through so many food blenders. Oh my
So if I
goodness.
think we've got two final
So
questions, or three maybe. What's the best
yep.
country that you visited for PKUers food wise? What would you say?
Wow. Well, food wise, everywhere I've been, like again, it's like I told you earlier on that I'd go to a buffet where I can pick up my own food. So, and the food has been there really. So, like, and when you think about it, it's International PKU Day. PKU is not
Yeah.
just in Ireland or the UK. It's like it's in Turkey, it's in Spain, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
So,
the worst country I
you
can
know,
answer for a fact is Belgium. Because
oh, right. I haven't
because of the
been to I
food,
haven't
because
been
of
to
the meat
Belgium,
and the
so
bread combination. The
right.
best one,
Mhm.
America isn't bad. I think America's quite good because
Mhm.
inherently a lot of the exchange food that we could eat or is quite calorific, and they love sugar. So there's going to be aspartame is really hard to come
Right.
by in America because they love sugar.
Mhm.
Or I quite like. I think Greece is quite good because it's quite a salad based diet,
Mhm.
so that's not too bad. Um,
Have you ever
I've never
have you
been
ever
to
been to
Italy. No.
Italy? No, I haven't either, but I was getting the opportunity to go this year for 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and but with the lockdown, I couldn't go and COVID-19. But it was something I was so worried about actually going over to Italy because Italy is the town of all the
But the
pastas, the
thing that
pizzas,
I found
the
out though is that
lasagnas.
at least I know the
Mm,
nutrition pasta is made in Italy. So yeah,
right.
so it could
Oh
could be
yeah.
all right.
Okay.
I think a lot of the staples that we get on prescription is Italian based. See, I guess you just got to talk to them, haven't you?
Yeah,
To those doing quite a lot
that's
about
it.
PKU and learning a lot, I've been told that I suffer from anxiety. Do you know if that could be from PKU? Anxiety and depression from PKU? I think that's just for me. That's not. That's just. I don't think that's a thing that's necessarily like for like with PKU. I think that can be circumstantial, but certainly if you have high levels,
But yeah,
that is certainly not going to help your opinions on anxiety and depression. Is what I'd say.
it's for me. It's I've never really touched off depression, but sometimes it would have been anxiety, and the only time would be really when it comes to a hard time, really. So like from studying and everything. So if anyone that's out there young and they're studying, that's the time to really focus on your diet, because if you're not focusing on your diet, you're going to be going through your exam process, and if your levels are high and everything, you're going to go through the anxiety while you're doing the exams,
And
and
you're not
that's
going to give
happened to me in the
yourself
past
the best shot, are you?
ages ago.
Really, in terms of with the high levels and
You
everything's
know,
going to appear a lot more heightened.
yeah, and like you could be so good at but that day when the exams happen, with your levels being high and your anxiety, that could change your whole result when
I
you're.
think your
Do you know
levels
what I
have a
mean?
lot to play
So
for in terms of just, for me, seeing the wood through the trees, isn't it, in a sense? Do you
yeah.
feel the support and service changes much between being a child and an adult? So we talked about this when we were doing the test a little bit, but the transition between
Yeah.
child and adult services for you in Ireland, and then I guess I'll go on about the UK from my perspective. How was it?
Um, oh, would you? I was I turned 21 when I left the Children's Hospital, because we have a new adult clinic now in Ireland that's only about 5 or 6 years old. But yeah, so it's still kind of a work in
Yeah,
process, you know what I mean? And I think um, but yeah, like it is different. And I think the time, like when I was in the Children's Hospital, I'd bump into a lot of more people than I do now in the adult
yeah.
clinic. Do you know what I mean? It's
It's a lot
it's a
more of
lot
an
quieter,
individual
really.
journey, I find, and
Yeah,
you can be as visible
yeah,
and how unvisible as you want. But I do think it boils
yeah.
down to what I said before. Is I do feel like we are a bit. I changed, I think, when I was 19, 20. You are a bit. We are a bit of a guinea pig in this age, because they are
Yeah.
learning about how to do the adult services.
Mhm.
Not controversial, but it's one that people don't necessarily want to
Oh,
answer. Do you still weigh all your exchanges, or do you guess?
I
This
guess.
is what I mean about the controversial. Like, I've been
But
called out. So
yeah, yeah. No, I do guess because, like I said, with a routine, I think it just comes automatically. You're going to get into a habit of even your portions of potato. Like if I grab potatoes, I know that the amount of exchanges that I'm having, because the amount that I'm going to grab. So, yeah, no,
I think to be
yeah.
honest, I think I obviously I weigh everything, but I'm a stickler for rules, and
Hmm.
I like
Hmm.
I've been diagnosed with the form of autism, so I like rules. If someone tells, so that's what I do. But I certainly
Mm.
I think that
And
yeah.
everyone is so different. Like, and you said you've been diagnosed with the touch of autism. And for me, growing up in school, I had a
Mm.
mild learning disability. So I grew up in a
Ah,
special needs
okay.
school myself. So everyone goes
Yeah,
through
and I
something
think like with
different,
the weighing thing, it's that I think people obviously find their own way with it, especially if you have the same kind of foods. I could understand how you could come a bit more
Mm.
lax on that sort of stuff, but every person
Yeah.
is like you said, is different. I don't like anomalies, so I just stick to weighing. But I don't think you should.
Hmm.
And this is the same with when people go off diet and come back on diet. I don't think you should penalise people for for doing certain ways, because as long as you're taking the protein substitutes and you're not going crazy, then it's that case of it's better than doing nothing, isn't it? So
and do you know when you weigh your foods and stuff, would you just weigh as you go, or would you kind of weigh stuff and have them ready to,
so
organization?
I weigh I don't weigh everything as in terms of like veg or something. If it's free, it's free. But I weigh my chips. I weigh them when they're out, like when I'm out eating, or I weigh them when I'm inside. I'm always taking scales around with me. So, I always weigh afterwards, or whenever you need to, but it's always weighing just before I eat. But then you have to be quite disciplined, because if I do have too many chips on the tray, and I only have a certain amount for my exchanges, you have to be disciplined and go, I'm not going to have those chips, and just put them in the bin. So
that's it.
It's I think it's all about routine and discipline, isn't it? Really, with those things. Andy says, if you had to say something positive about having PKU, what would it be? I'll start with that, because I've obviously passed a lot off to you, Killian. I think PKU has allowed me to travel places that I wouldn't ever go to, meet completely different people that I wouldn't have gone to, had a lot of funny benefits along the way, from just simple things like when I was at school, everybody used to get chocolate. I used to get Starburst, because the teacher was like, you can't have chocolate. For me, prefer that, makes you feel special. I think it's just opened a lot of opportunities for me, and I think it's. I always think if I'm not positive about it, no one will be positive about it around me. So, and it means that you have a bond with people that you don't really realise, and I always find it's a great talking point, and it breaks the ice quite well at conversations. So I don't know what about you? Is something positive about having PKU, Killian? Because we're both quite positive people, aren't we? So
that's it. And for me, it's learning so much more than not just the PKU, but you're going to learn so much more about other different kind of conditions. So it's learning more, and again, like you said, meeting the different types of people, for me, it's just about, obviously, I'm, like you said, I am positive, and I try to stick to the diet as much as I can, and even what gets me motivated with the PKU as well. I know I'm kind of going off topic, but it's knowing people with PKU. I'm learning that I'm not alone. That there's so many more people out there with the same condition as me. So I always, when I do meet the people with PKU, it's such a great feeling, and we're learning so much from each other.
And
do you know
what
I mean?
I think that I'd add on to that is, if you wanted to play devil's advocate against why PKU is, because people have obviously a negative opinion on PKU. For me, I'd much rather have PKU than something else. So, say a nut allergy.
Yeah, that's it.
You can't control how someone's made the food.
Yeah.
You can't control what that's come into contact with. And that doesn't affect us on a PKU level, but it would do as a nut allergy thing. So for me, there's far worse out there that I could have, that I could have, that would be worse than PKU. And also, we both physically, until we started eating, like we've said, we don't look any different to anybody else. And I think that really can help us survive in life. That I always think if I turn up to a job interview and I'm missing a leg, then they're going to automatically think, can this person do the job? Whereas we, in person, come across as normal people. And it's only once you start eating a dinner with us that we look a bit strange. But that's ultimately not going to affect your job, and it's not going to affect you to get your foot in the door for them to go. Because no one's going to go, oh, well, because you don't weigh, Killian, I'm not going to offer you this job in theatre. It's so
Yeah.
I think you can have far more visible disability that can put you in a lot more of a detriment in leading an independent life than what we have at the moment. So that's it.
Yeah, and it's again, it's a diet for life.
Completely.
You know?
Have you ever relaxed the diet? And if so, do you notice any unwarranted symptoms? I've never relaxed. I notice the symptoms when I run high levels, so I wouldn't ever go. I wouldn't ever want to go further than that once I have high levels and I have the brain fog and all that sort of stuff. That's enough for me to not want to keep going down that path.
Yeah, it's like a brake in the car, you know, braking at a stoplight.
Yeah.
You're like, whoop,
let's
hold up.
Let's back up.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stops here.
So yeah, is there any other more questions? If not, I think we will have to wrap this up because we've got Eric's live quiz, I think, at 7:30. How can we find you on social media, Killian, so people can contact you and ask if you do your daily food diet as you say you do?
So, well, I do. It's my Instagram is Killian James underscore underline. You're techie. Killian James underscore 17.
And obviously, Killian's name is under him currently at the moment. He doesn't believe it because he can't see it, but it is under him.
No.
my Instagram and your Facebook is the same too, isn't it? So
Killian James Fitzgerald.
And my name is quite self-explanatory, and all my social medias are that. So if you have any further questions, you can also put this in a comment when this video's gone live. Find us on the social medias. I have tagged Killian in a lot of the Twitter stuff, but I don't think he uses Twitter too much. But his profile is there. So his profile is there.
I try.
So I hope you have a great rest of the International PKU Day. And have you enjoyed it, Killian?
I have. It was a great chat. Like, you know, time
there you go.
flies
Time flies when you're talking about PKU.
So we've that's it.
Right, cheers then, chat, and we will see you in a bit.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Talk to you. Bye.